In this video, I'm going to instruct you on how to do an exercise I like to call layers of value. First, let's review what value is. Value is the lightness or darkness of an image or part of an image. We're going to use just a basic pencil and create different levels of lightness and darkness with that pencil. First, let's practice. You'll create 4 shapes. The first one will be the lightest and will get darker from then on. As you're shading, press lightly on the first shape. You can press a little bit darker around the edges just for practice, because this is how you'll be shading in your shapes in your exercise. So as we get to the third and then fourth shapes, we're gonna press a little darker. You can see how I'm bringing my fingers down closer to the tip of the pencil when I want to create darker values, and when I was doing the lightest value, I held the pencil closer to the eraser. You can go back over some of your shapes if you need to add more layers of value as well. Now that we've practiced, we're going to create large organic shapes on a piece of paper. We're going to place those shapes close to each other, just leaving a small area between each one, so these shapes should not touch. Also, don't let them touch the edges of your paper. You should draw at least 6, but probably more, close to 10 shapes on your paper. And once your paper looks somewhat like this, you're going to begin shading using the lightest value first. So if you remember back to when we practiced, this would be the first shape that we colored in. So the lightest value, but you are pressing more firmly towards the edge of the shape, and then you're gonna fade that value into no pencil at all towards the center of each shape. Do that on all of your shapes. Next, you're going to draw 6 or more organic shapes on top of the shapes you had already drawn. Now, it's best to have the shapes be so large that they are entering into the other shapes you drew, but you're not going to draw the line on the white part of the paper. So look carefully how I'm drawing my shapes, and I'm just stopping and restarting after I hit the white part of the paper. Once I'm done, I'm going to shade those in using my second value. This second value should be darker than the first, so I'm going to need to layer on more pencil to make it look darker as I shade. I begin by putting down a piece of paper under my hand so that I don't smear the pencil as I apply more pencil to the paper. As I shade, I'm careful not to get pencil on that white part of the paper, the part that we left blank during the very first step. And I'm always shading from darkest on the edge of the shape to lightest in the center of the shape. Next, I'm going to begin drawing the third layer of shapes. So I'll start again by overlapping the shapes that I've already drawn, but not putting any pencil on the white part of the paper. I draw approximately 6 shapes, and then I'll start shading those in using my third value. So now I'm using an even darker value. So I'm applying more pencil in layers so that it's darker than the second value. Again, it's darkest around the edges and it fades to lighter in the center. Finally, my fourth layer, I'm going to draw additional shapes. Same way again, starting and stopping at those white lines, overlapping the shapes, and then these will be shaded in with the fourth value. So these are all over darker, but still I'll shade from darkest along the edges to lighter in the center of the shape. And that is it. Now I have used 4 or more different values in this piece. It was a great exercise. If you try it as well, let me know what you think. And by the way, I got this idea from some other art teachers. I'll post a link to their websites in the description of this lesson in case you can learn any additional tips from them too. Thanks for watching.